Once Sudana, the youth, had acquired these paramitas. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva then extended his right hand and rubbed the crown of his head. After he had rubbed the crown of Sudana's head, Sudana the youth then immediately acquired an array of samadhi gateways as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras, each of which was in turn attended by a retinue of additional samadhis as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. In each one of these samadhis the following events occurred. He saw in its entirety what he had never seen before, namely the immense ocean of Buddhas as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He accumulated provisions for the path to all knowledge that were as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He produced supremely marvelous dharmas of all knowledge that were as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He made great vows regarding all knowledge that were as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He entered an ocean of great vows as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He came to abide in emancipating paths to omniscience as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He cultivated practices cultivated by all bodhisattvas, practices that were as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He produced instances of great vigor in the pursuit of all knowledge that were as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. He acquired pure lights of all knowledge as numerous as the atoms in all Buddha Kshestras. Just as Samantabhadra Bodhisattva rubbed Sudana's crown in the presence of Vairocana Buddha here in this Saha world system, so too did Samantabhadra Bodhisattva also rub the crown of Sudana's head in the presence of all Buddhas in all world systems throughout the 10 directions, while also doing so in all world systems within every atom of those world systems. All those Dharma gateways that he acquired in those instances were also identical to those acquired here. Samantabhadra Bodhisattva then spoke to Sudana, asking, "Son of good family, did you or did you not see these spiritual powers of mine?" Sudana replied, "I did indeed see them. O great Arya! Such inconceivable feats of spiritual powers could only be known by a Tathagata." Samantabhadra replied, "Son of good family, in the quest for all knowledge, I have practiced the bodhisattva practices for past kalpas as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras. In each of those kalpas, in order to purify the resolve to attain bodhi, I have served Buddhas as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras. In each of those kalpas, in order to accumulate the merit necessary for the realization of all knowledge, I established great assemblies dedicated to giving, assemblies that were as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras, assemblies in which everyone in the world was able to learn of them, so that they could then all be completely satisfied with whatever it was they sought to acquire. In each of those kalpas, in my quest to acquire the dharmas of all knowledge, I engaged in acts of giving wealth that were as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras. In each of those kalpas, in my quest to acquire the Buddha's knowledge, I made gifts of cities, towns, villages, countries, the royal throne, wives, sons, retinues, eyes, ears, noses, tongues, bodily flesh, hands, feet, and even my own life, doing so in instances as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras. In each of those kalpas, in my quest to acquire the head endowed with all knowledge, I made gifts of even my own head that were as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Kshestras. And in each of those kalpas, in my quest to attain all knowledge, I personally revered, honored, served, and made offerings to Tathagatas as numerous as the atoms in an ineffable number of Buddha Shastras, making offerings to them of robes, bedding, drink, food, medicines, and whatever was needed, in every case making offerings of all those things. During the reign of their Dharma, I left the householder's life, trained in the path, cultivated the Buddha's Dharma, and preserved their right teaching. Son of good family, I remember that, even in so very many oceans of kalpas, there has not been even one mind moment in which I have failed to comply with the Buddha's teachings. Nor has there been even one mind moment in which I have produced hate-filled or malicious thoughts conceiving of a self or possessions of a self, thoughts of distinctions between self and others, thoughts of abandoning the resolve to attain bodhi, thoughts of weariness over continuing in samsara, indolent thoughts, obstructive thoughts, or deluded thoughts. Rather, I have only dwelt in the unexcelled and invincible great resolve to attain bodhi that accumulates the dharmas essential to all knowledge. Son of good family, as for the efforts I have made in adorning Buddha lands, in relying on great compassion to rescue and protect beings, in teaching beings and promoting their development, in making offerings to the Buddhas, in serving good spiritual guides, in my quest for right Dharma, in which I have extensively propagated, protected, and preserved it, and in my being able to relinquish everything, whether inward or outward, even to the point of unstintingly sacrificing my own life. Even if one attempted for an ocean of kalpas to describe all the causes and conditions involved in these efforts, that ocean of kalpas might come to an end, but one's description of these matters would still never come to an end. Son of good family, in this entire ocean of Dharma of mine, there is not so much as one word or one sentence, the acquisition of which has not involved giving up the wheel-turning king's throne, or which has not involved giving up everything I possessed. Son of good family, all the Dharma that I have sought has always been used for the sake of rescuing and protecting all beings, and it has all been attended by single-minded meditative reflection, in which I have wished to cause all beings to succeed in hearing this Dharma, in which I have wished to use the light of wisdom to everywhere illuminate the world, in which I have wished to instruct beings in world-transcending wisdom, in which I have wished to cause all beings to succeed in finding happiness, and in which I have wished to everywhere proclaim the praises of all Buddha's meritorious qualities.